Hello everyone, we'll get started here in about 4 minutes. I couldn't find my microphone. Okay. Let's see here. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Wednesday. It is warm here. It is in the 60s here, but it's all cloudy and rainy also. Wow, here in the middle of December, just crazy weather. Crazy, crazy weather. Okay. There's that. And we'll get started on with our project here momentarily. You can see in behind me there, I've got almost all of my quilt blocks done, except for 2 of them. I gotta go turn my iron on. Let that be heating up. And this is what, part 2 of my Let's Make a Quilt series for December. I am going to be doing a new one every month. This is what I've decided to do. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and it'll be a good, hopefully y'all can pull something away from it that'll help you out in the future as well. Okay. I got 2 more strips to sew onto these blocks. And I'll have all of my blocks done for my big quilt. But then I've also got another quilt top from the leftover fabric from my Charm Packs jelly rolls that I opened for my big king size Christmas quilt. And I've cut up everything into charm squares, 5-inch squares on this second one. This is going to make a much smaller quilt than this one back here will be. But I'm going to get that one pieced also today. So I'm going to finish up the piecing on this one, and I'm going to go as far as I can in the 4 hours I've allowed for this session on my second quilt top, and then Sunday, I'll be coming back and actually quilting one of these quilts in front of you on my Baby Lock long arm machine. So, everything I do is free motion. I do not have, I'm having a bad hair day. But everything I do is free motion, and you can join me on my journey to make me making my one of my family's Christmas gifts this year. Alrighty. That was a mouthful. And 1 more minute to go and it'll be 12. I'm gonna drink a soda pop, a little Diet Coke. Alrighty. And let's see here. I'll do one more thing. I need to make a posting in my group. Copy. We'll get started here in just a minute, everybody. Please bear with me. And here. Let's see here. What I am doing, I am posting a link to this session in my Facebook group, in case you're wondering what I'm doing, standing up here like this, where you just really can't hardly see me or anything. Here we go. Okay. Okay. So. Alrighty. So welcome to session 2. Those of you that are watching, if you'd like to post, if you're from our Facebook group, if you just like to post in there, I couldn't get logged on and I've already made one post about that. But if you want to invite anybody to come and watch, please do. Let them know that we're live over here in our Facebook group. Or not our Facebook group, our YouTube group. So, as you can see behind me, I've got my layout down. I have 2 more blocks to finish, and the ones I'm working on right now, I have to press them also, of course. But, is this right here? Wait a minute, there's just 2 there. Am I missing a piece somewhere? Anyway, this is the block that I'm currently, I got one finished, I think. Yes, there it is. Okay, I did not lose my quilt pieces. That's a good thing. Let me get these cut apart just so I can show you this real quick. This is what I'm finishing up with. These are my last blocks right here. They have all the cute little lemurs on it. Get that a little closer. You can see that fabric. So that's what I'm working on right now. And then once I get these 6 blocks finished and pressed, I'm going to start sewing all of the blocks together. I have made 49 blocks in total. Today I am sewing on my Accomplish straight stitch machine. And I am going to swap over my camera view here in just a moment. Let me get myself a little better organized. I'm having to listen for the door buzzer on the shop as well. I may have to get up and wait on a customer when someone comes in. If Mike doesn't come in from outside, he's out working in the yard today. Okay, so hope everyone's having a wonderful time, having a wonderful week. We're going to get started on this. I'm going to swap my camera over. There we go. So here's my Accomplish right here. And where's that at? Hold on. Where did you go to? I have another camera floating around here somewhere. I'm so confused. Not really, but there you are. There you go. Okay. So this is what I'm going to use for a handheld cam today. So you can see right here, this is what I'm sewing on right here. And I have my stitch length set just under 2 millimeters. Okay. This is the Baby Lock Accomplish. All it does is straight stitch, and that's all you need to piece a quilt top with. So we'll just put that down right there. And we're going to start getting some of this lined up. Okay. So, as before in the last session, I have made significant progress. I also have the knee lift on this machine. That way it frees up both of my hands. So I'm going to press on it and see how that raises up. I'm just moving my knee over. It makes it so easy. Then you don't have to reach in behind to raise and lower your presser foot. Yep, and it helps if you have it threaded. Okay. Now this is a semi-industrial machine. It stitches 1,500 stitches per minute. And it's really fast. And I really like to use this to piece on. It's also a very heavy-duty machine. There we go. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to thread my needle. And with a lot of machines, if you don't start the needle out in fabric, they are actually going to unthread themselves, and that's what happened just now. So what I like to have is just a piece of cloth that I can get started on. And It's a beginning, it's what you call a beginning cloth. And that way you know you're making a proper stitch and all that fun stuff. See how fast that is? And then when I come down to the end, I'm going to do the same thing. So here we go. Just going to line up those seams and nest them. Okay. And I have this seam guide here set up so that it's exactly a 1/4 inch away from the needle. Okay, I've got, I think, 3 more blocks to, 2 more strips to sew on, then I'll have to get them pressed. Hi, Marcia. Yes, I will occasionally look over at the computer monitor to see if there's anything in chat. Feel free to chat, everybody. I'll join in with you. Welcome to my studio. Ooh-wee. But yes, so I'm going to make my second smaller quilt top out of those 5-inch charm squares. And that is the quilt top you'll actually be seeing me quilting on the Gallant. This quilt here that I'm making, the king size quilt, will not fit in the Gallant frame because I do not have the 2-foot extension in it. I just have an 8-foot frame for it right now. And my other long arm is not a baby lock long arm. And that's why I really cannot have that one on camera because of my job, my contract with Baby Lock as a Baby Lock national educator. Anywho, it's all good. I am planning in 2022 to actually get the larger long arm, the Regalia. Okay, so and this machine does have the Accomplish there. It does have, check it out, it has a scissor button. So awesome. Okay. And oh, looky there. I ran out of bobbin. That didn't even sew. Imagine that. I was busy talking. I was busy chit-chatting. Guess what? Okay. So, wait, and that is threaded. Let me make sure. Yes, the needle was threaded. Why didn't it sew? It sewed there. Oh, it must have broke. Interesting. Okay, let's give you another go here. Okay. I think I am out. I think my bobbin thread is empty. Yep, it is. Because I know the needle's threaded. So what that means is, let me put another bobbin in. I have already got bobbins wound for this. And this machine comes with this extension table. It's super nice. I just love this machine. Okay. Yep, empty bobbin, imagine that. There we go, empty. So we'll just put a full one in it and we'll keep on sewing. Ooh, Okay. And now we should be good to go. Let's see if that'll make a stitch now. Yes, it is sewing stitches now. Alrighty. Here, I thought I was almost done with these and ready to press, but I wasn't. We're going to be, though, here in just about 2 minutes. Okay. And boy, howdy, it sews so much better when you have bobbin thread, when you have a full bobbin in the machine as opposed to an empty one. Imagine that. Woohoo! Okay. Now, this machine, it is loud. You are not liking me right now. And it just broke my upper thread. Imagine that. Why did it do that? Why did you do that? Okay. Oh, yes, it's always fun when you're live and things decide they're going to act up and be snarky with you today, like this one is doing. But it's all good. It's just part of it. Okay. There we go. Make sure I got me good enough tail. Okay. And there. And let's give her another go. Gonna give it another go here. Okay. Now we're stitching. Making sure. Okay. And there's one. We're making stitches now, everybody. It's a good thing. Now it's got me, now I'm checking it just to make sure. Yeah, it's sewing fine. Woo-hoo. All machines have, you know, you just never know what's going to happen, especially during, no matter whether it's large or small, it will happen when you're live on camera. Okay, 2 down. Perfect. Okay. Cut. And there we go. So, I'll swap the camera angle a little bit. Oops, wrong one. Hello there. Let's go to that one there. There's the one I wanted. Okay. No, I still wanted this one. Okay, there we go. So what I'm doing now, I'm going to walk over to my ironing board and I'm going to press these 6 blocks because that is what I need to do. I'm just going to go ahead and get my starter cloth going. Oh, I see what's going on now. I see what's going on now. It cut my, I got my thread cut short when I was using the built-in thread cutter. Imagine that, and that's what caused it to unthread itself. I just saw it do it. You know, and sometimes it'll do it, and other times it will never do it. You just, who knows, the rhyme or reason to it. It's all good. So, now I can get it started under there. And that goes back, I should have had an ending cloth on, and that way I would never have had to have cut that thread. So that's exactly what I'm going to get now. I'm going to cut this in half. And then when I finish my next line of quilting, I can just sew off onto it, and it will never ever do that. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to my ironing board. Come here. Right over there. And I'm going to press these blocks. And I have my comfy clothes on today, everybody. So I have some of my yoga pants and a t-shirt. I am not dressed up today. Okay. I am just a regular person, just like y'all are. There we go. Oops, those got to be pressed also. Nope, they don't. Those have already been pressed. Okay. Now what you hear my steam going, I am not pressing down hard or stretching fabric. I'm letting my iron just glide over the top to flatten everything out. And it's okay to use a lot of steam as long as you're not ironing, putting the iron down and really pressing a lot of pressure on the fabric as you're moving the iron. If you do not do that, it's okay to use steam and to press all your blocks, and that is how I personally like to do it. There's 1,000,001 ways to press. Some people never press it until the entire quilt top is finished. That is entirely up to you if you're going to make a quilt. I do like to press my blocks after I get a block done. Just makes it lay so much flatter, and especially if you're going to take it to a long armor or a long arm it yourself, you want that quilt top to be nice and flat. Okay, now then, there are those. And I'm going to move to this camera because now, oops, I had a couple of blocks drop and I'm getting ready to pull blocks off of my design wall. I'm going to move this camera back a bit, get a better look at it that way. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now then, that one, you. Okay. Let's see here. Yep. Making sure I have those just like I want them. We'll look it over one more time. And you would go in this little area down here. Okay. Then up there, I decided on these. You know, this part of laying out a quilt to sew the blocks together, there's no right way, there's no wrong way. If you don't have a design wall, you can use a bed, you can use a table, or you can use the floor. I used the floor for a long time before I had my first design wall. Okay. This quilt's going to be 7 blocks by 7 blocks, about 95 by 95 inches. Let's see here. And 1, 7, 6, 5, 4. And that's a 3 one, right? Right. So I'm going to break that one up on both sides. I'm talking to myself, thinking as I'm doing this. I think, let me think here for a second. What do I have here? Zebra blocks. Those. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. 3 and 3. That's going to go right there. Okay. Alrighty, now the fun begins. Okay. So, I am going to move one of these cameras out of my way because I probably will not be using it again, so I just have more room. And we're going to come right here, angle that down. Okie dokie. Now what I'm going to do with my 5-inch charm squares a little later, I'm actually going to make 9 patches, random 9 patches to set together for my quilt, for my bonus quilt. So, move these out of my way. Everything else will be good. And then what I like to do is either use clips or pins when I'm bringing stuff off of my design wall. That way, I will clip it. I'm going to use Wonder Clips. I will clip it right where, when I put the 2 blocks together, I'm going to clip it where the seam is going to be. So in other words, if I sew these 2 together, like so, this would be this is where they'll get sewn together at. So I'm just going to take those off and clip it together. If you don't have clips, use a straight pin. And now I know that this, on this side where this clip is, this is the side I'm going to sew those 2 blocks together on. Okay. I'm going to do a couple more. Oops, come here, you. Okay. And a couple more. And 2 more. Now this one here. Okay. Now be ready to sew this first group together. Okay. Oops. That little ceramic jar I have that I keep my Wonder Clips in, check it out. That's one of those Jim Shore collectible bowls. Get the little lid for it. I found this in a thrift store for $2. And I thought, oh boy, that's the perfect use. I'll use it for my Wonder Clips to keep by my sewing machine. Turned out really great for that. Okay. So next, next I am just going to go right over the top, right over in where I have my blocks clipped together. I'm actually going to sew each one of those seams. Let me move this here for just a second. There we go. I'm going to look at the questions. Oh, thank you, Donna. Donna, over there I have a Rowenta steam iron that has a 1.5 gallon water tank on it. No, that is what I understand what you're saying, Barbara. I am mixing that one up, that particular pattern, yes. Okay, now then, can make sure my seam lines all match up as I go through. Okay, there's one. Let's get the next one going here. You know, this is the part that really honestly does go, for me anyway. Once I get to this stage where I'm just setting the quilt blocks together, I feel like I've got it whooped. I feel like I'm almost at the finish line on a quilt top. And that's always a good feeling. Here's the one you were talking about, Barbara. Let's have a look at that just to make sure. Oh, I see what you mean. Let me just look at it real quick here. Yep, that should have been turned. I can see that now. Because the strips out here to the side that have the little animal faces, I do have them all going in a logical order, and that did need to be flipped. Now that would actually kind of go with everything else. Thank you for pointing that out to me. I had thought about just mixing them up, and then I'd really plan on this being a super scrappy quilt with no rhyme or reason and just sew it all together. And then my OCD kicked in, and it is what it is now. So I'd only planned on making one quilt top for the month of December for this video series, but now we're doing two. So, and it's all good. But I love using charm squares just to make a simple patchwork quilt, which is what I'll be making after I get this set together. I'll at least get it started and then you'll see the finished result on Sunday. And yes, these live videos here on YouTube, those will be available for review later on. The great thing about having the videos on YouTube, you can pause them, record them, use them as a DVR and all kinds of stuff. So it's a good thing. There's a lot more control, not only for me as a creator, but for you as a viewer over how you see these videos on YouTube as opposed to Facebook. Now, Friday night, over on the Facebook side, that is when I always do my Feature Friday on Facebook. This Friday is all about my December block of the month. This is what I'll be featuring this Friday night. Plus, I have a lot of announcements to make as well. Okay, now we'll just sew off. Yeah, we're all good to go. And as I pull these off, let's see, I'm going to keep them in order because I'm going to put them back up on my design wall so I don't get stuff mixed up. To me, that's very important. It's not getting your blocks sewn in out of order, because who wants to rip out seams? I know I don't. Let's go back to our other camera. Okay. And this one went down here at the bottom. Oops. Clip that little dude off. There we go. Okay. There's that one. Then this one up here. Right, that's right. Then this one. And then this one. And that one. And this one here. Okay. Now then, I am going to sew together, and after I get this quilt top all the blocks sewn together, that's when I'll do my final press. So this gets sewn together. See right here. That one I'm not going to clip because I'm just going to. It's handy when you can have this close to your machine. Then you don't always have to clip every single step or pin. However, if where you're laying it out is in a separate room from where your sewing machine is, then it's a good idea to actually do the clip it or pin it every step of the way so you know what side to actually sew together. I learned that the hard way. Okay. Now I got a bunch of seams to line up here. We're going to get that done. Let's change that camera. There we go. Okay. And what I'm doing, I'm just buttoning up the seams to each other as I go. And quite honestly, it really works out well. Like I said, everybody has their way of piecing. And if you're doing complicated piecing, well, yeah, then you need to really press it every step of the way. But on simple straight lines, you don't always have to press it every step of the way, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, we got 4 locks in that unit set together. Woohoo! We're getting there. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now then, get that oriented back in its proper position. And bum, 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 bum. Dun, 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 dun. That's right. Right there. Yep, right there. I'm going to put it up a little bit higher now, because I'm going to actually set these together in 2 block by 2 block units. Okay. Because by doing that, I don't have to have so many long seams. If I set a whole row together, then I have a whole long row set together each and every time. It's just easier to manipulate the fabric, all the fabric, if you do it in more of a series of shorter seams, in my opinion. That's just how I like to do it anyway. It's easier to handle. At least I think it is anyway. Okay. Here we go. You know, like if you're not making a king size quilt, you can get by with just 1 layer cake, 1 10-inch charm square package, and 1 design roll jelly roll package to make a nice size quilt. But I had to make a king size quilt, so I opened up 2 packages of each, and hence is why I'm making 1 large quilt top and 1 small one, so that I utilize all that fabric. Okay. Do I have another one ready? No, I don't. Okay. So, let's get that sewn off. Now I'm ready to sew some loose blocks back. I'm going to move over a row. Get this one set up here. Okay. Go right there. Okay. That would come up. So next, let me get me some clips. Next would be these two right here. And clip them together. And these two. Then these two. And these two. And then these two down here. Okay. Now then we get these all set together, these block groups of two here. And see, by clipping them on the side, I know I'm going to sew one. I don't even have to think about it. And that's what makes it really, really good. The less I have to think about something sometimes, the better off I am. Okay. Up there. And there was a time when I would take my time and pin every seam line together before I would ever sit down at a machine. Now, what I've discovered, and this is from making a lot of log cabin blocks, sometimes it's just as accurate and quick when you have nothing but straight lines, nothing but squares and or rectangles to sew together, simply because as you're feeding it under the machine, you have to line it up anyway, right? So why do double the prep work? I'd rather actually make sure it's lined up really well right before it goes under my presser foot, because that way I still have time to adjust something if I need to before it goes underneath the foot. Now, if I'm doing anything with angles or diamonds or triangles, I'm going to pin the heck out of it before I do that, because if you're going to have seams not line up, that is the easiest place to do it when you're doing Y seams or hexes or parallelograms or triangles or octagons. You get the idea. Those more complex geometrical shapes, that's where you definitely want to pin it every step of the way. equilateral triangles. Yes. Pin, pin, and pin again. Now, I couldn't even begin to tell you how many quilt tops I've pieced in my life. There has been so many. For a number of years, I actually pieced quilt tops for a living, quite honestly. And this was back in the 1980s. And I would piece quilt tops that had more than 8,000 cut pieces on top. I have pieced a lot of quilt tops. And I find, I guess maybe that's one reason I'm more willing to not pin sometimes than I am to pin everything regardless. Because it goes back to doing what I call production sewing. Because I would piece 3 to 4 quilt tops every week of every year for those years that I did that. Unless I actually took a vacation. Okay. Okay. Move my camera over. There we go. Now we're going to make sure everything lines back up again. Let me see here. Where would you go? You would go right down here. It goes from the bottom up. Okay. By keeping everything laid out, pretty much know exactly where everything's going to go. I know there's been times I tried to just like pin everything together and stack it up as a whole, and then it just becomes, it's like working a jigsaw puzzle out. If you have all two block units sewn together, yeah, that doesn't work for me simply because there has to be some order to my chaos, or it will literally make me physically sick. Yeah, can't do that. Okay. And then that one, we go there. Oh, is that right? That's right. Yes. Okay. And then this one would be up at the top. Okay. They're like that. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. So, oops. Right there. Yep. So it's going to go right there like that. Okay. This one. Come right there like that. Oh, wonderful, Marcia. It's beautiful fabric. This is what I call my happy fabric. I love this fabric. Okay, I just have to check something out to make sure that first one I clipped together correctly. I'm just spreading it out a little bit, just so I can make sure once these are sewn together, they're like this, I think. That I'll have it where I want it. Yes, that is correct. Okay. Now, wait a minute. Open back up there for a minute. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. Okay. Talking to myself. There we go. So, this one first. And then once I get these 4 groups of 4 blocks sewn together, I'm going to sew that unit together so it measures 4 blocks by 4 blocks. I hope that made sense. And then I will start laying out more blocks. Okay, here we go. Just matching up those seam lines as I go. That's what I was doing right there. This one. Marsha, I'm just going to tell you, once you have some tulip fabric, it multiplies by itself. All of her different lines of fabric really work well together, just so you know. Just like Kaif fabric, which I also love. It's all good. Have not decided how I'm going to quilt this yet. I really will not make a final decision until it's actually in my long arm frame. And then I'll decide probably at the last minute what I'm going to do. That's just the way I do that usually. But I certainly tend to pet feathers in just about everything that I quilt. You never know. Let's see here. Okay, so that one's done. Let's stitch off here. Okay. Okay. Now then, actually, I'm going to put these back up on my wall for a moment. There we go. That one goes right there. Is that right? No, that's not right. Probably goes like this instead. It does. It goes right there. Then that one would go right there. Yes. Yes, it does. So these two together. Next. Give me a little clippy on there. Then these two here would go together as well. Okay. we go. Oh, wonderful, Marcia. I love stippling. I really do. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, another unit. Let's get this seam line done. And all I'm doing, everybody, I'm just lining up my seam lines as I go and nesting them together and holding on to them. I'm pinching them right there. And once my needle goes past that seam, I'll stop and line up the next one. There you go. There you go. And then the next one. And here's the thing, if you have really busy fabric, this is what I call busy, very busy fabric. If you make a little boo-boo, no one's ever going to see it because the fabric's busy. No one will ever know but you. Okay, there's that one done. Now, I have these two units right here to sew together next. And I think I can do this without putting them on the wall. It's because I know where they're going. Let's see here. Oops. There we go. Okay. Yep, right there. And if I mess up, everybody, you can hear me whine about having to rip out a seam. So I'm going to make sure I don't do that because I don't want to do that. Okay. 1, 2. That's right. Those two go together right there. Okay. Got a bunch of seams to line up on this one. Bunches. It's a good thing. Get this straightened up. Do. Here we go. Okay. And one more block to join here. And that seam, those 16 blocks will be all stitched together. Alrighty, let's put that back on the wall. Okay. Let's see what that looks like after it's actually all the blocks on this little section are all set together. Okay. Yes, that's going to be a big quilt. Woohoo. Okay. And I am going to actually bring this over some so that I can line up the blocks. Yes, I'm talking with pins in my mouth. There we go. There we go. Okay. Perfect. Okie dokie. Next, let me see here. Next. That one would go down there. And that would go right there. Let's see here. Then I'm going to move some of these over and lay out some more blocks here. Okay, so what do I need here? I need a marbly one. one of these. And that'll go down there. Then I need a zebra. And a lemur. Where are you at, Mr. Lemur? There you are. Okay. Lemur. That one's called Lemur Me Alone. And it has some really cute little titles to this fabric. Okay, then I need one of these. Yes, right there. Okay. Then I need whatever's going to go up there. So it's 1, 2, 3, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. The next would be 2 and then 1. Okay, I have to think now. I got to think now. Let's see here. Two and 1. 2 and 1. So I would have 2 left over from one of the 4s. 7, 6, 5, 4. And down here would be 7, 6, 5, 4. Put 2 panda bears right there. Should have 2 of those left over. Yep. Yep. Yes, that's what's going to go there. Okay. That one will go there. And then I'm going to use some straight pins just to line up some other blocks so I can finish out the width over here. Okay, that's a wire. Just being careful, and I just dropped one. I knew there was a loose one somewhere. I don't want to step on one of those because I am barefoot today. Okay, so that one would go there. Okay, one of those would go there. Then the lemur would go down there. Okay, then a zebra would go down there. Okay. Okay. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do on this one, I'm going to pin 3 blocks together in a row, and that way I will have, that'll be my entire width this way, 7 blocks across. Right? Right. I do have to figure out what goes up here yet, because that would be a single block. So the ones I do 5 on, I'll have 7, let's see. 7, 6, 5. Skunky goes up there. Seven, 6, 5. You would go right up there, Mr. Skunk. And you hear me counting out 765, for instance, its position of each one of these blocks, because these blocks I have 7 of. Everything else I have 6 of each. So over here in my upper left corner of the quilt, these blocks will go from one corner to the other corner, which means the marbled right here, there'll be 6 of those in a row. That uses up all of those. Here's 5, 7, 7, 6, 5. I have one of those left over. Wait. 7, 6, 5. 5 is a zebra. So I have one zebra print left over. And coming down on the other side, 7, 6, 5, I'll have one skunk left over. So that tells me where I can put the blocks that I need that I'm going to have left over. I know that sounded convoluted, but that's the best way I can explain it for right now. If you put it out on a piece of paper and draw 7 by 7 blocks, or if you use a software program, you can really figure it out better that way, and that's how I did mine. Okay. This will all make sense to you once it's all sewn together, I promise. Okay, so it is time to do some serious wonder clipping here. So, this one, go to this, right here. Okay, and then that one, go right here. I'm going to do one row at a time, or I know I will get them out of order. No matter how organized I try to be. Okay. So we're ready to start sewing these rows of 3 blocks together. Okay. There's that seam. And one more. And we'll have those 3 blocks sewn together. Okay, come here, you. Straighten up. There we go. There we go. Okay. Perfect. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to piece a unit 3 blocks wide and 4 blocks long. Long story short. And then I'm going to attach it to the unit I just made. Okay. Now I'm going to so there's that one. See, all sewn together. And maybe you're wondering, how do my seam lines match up since I'm not pinning? Well, check it out and you be the judge. Right there. And right there. Okay. By all means, I encourage everybody to use the method that they're comfortable with. This just happens to work for me. So I'm going to do with this unit that I just pieced, I'm going to lay it down here on the floor. That was just my microphone. And I'm going to get my next 3 blocks pinned together. Okay, there's that one. And that one. Okay. You can see my 3rd block, I actually pinned it. Oops, here we go. It's actually pinned to where it belongs. Okay. And now we get that other side done there. Let's see here. And once I get this 12 added on to the previous 16, I am way over halfway done having them all set. Now you got to have those little benchmarks, so you have this feeling of accomplishment done. Oh, I got that much of it done. Yahoo! Just makes it seem like it goes by so much better. And that's a different way to do it. What I'm doing there, I'm using my knee lift and raising up the presser foot. And then don't have to use a beginning in the cloth that way. But yeah, yep, it looks really good. I'm just checking up my seam lines and stuff here. Okay, so next I'm going to sew this unit and the one I just done before this. I'm going to sew them together because I have them right down here handy in order. Okay, and I'm going to do a row, so two rows of 3 together. There we go. It's just so relaxing to sit here and sew and know you're making something that's going to bring happiness to someone. Just a wonderful feeling. I tell you, this year I've been so busy making quilts for other people, I've neglected my own family. I'm making up for it right now. I've also got my little dog a quilt pieced that I am making him for Christmas. His own little quilt out of minky fabrics. Okay, so there we go. There's that one. And I'm going to lay this down here so when I get the next one I can just add it on to the rest. Make sure that is where it needs to be. Yes. Alrighty. And 3 more. And these 2. Oh, come here, you. There we go. Right there. Okay. And just like before, 3 seams, another row of 3 added to the unit that larger unit that I'm working on. It's a good thing. Let's see here. Let me check out the chat window here. Oh, that'd be wonderful, Marcia. Yes, Marcia, I have all of these blocks made up. Yes. Now, once I get these all set together, I'm going to start working on quilt top number 2 for my layer cake and jelly rolls. I have cut all my leftover 10-inch squares up into 5 by 5 inch squares. And I'm going to make a very geometric, because the matching fabrics for this, you'll see they have big polka dots and stripes and solid black, solid white. And it'll make an interesting looking patchwork throw quilt. I have enough for a throw quilt. Now I've used up all the fabric that I opened up for this big quilt here. Okay. That one's sewn on. Yes, I got all of my blocks, all 49 blocks done for this big quilt. And if you're sewing along, you may just have 30 blocks or 36 blocks to do. But I had to open up 2 sets of charm packs, layer cakes, and jelly rolls to make this king size quilt. I normally do not make king-size quilts. A lot of the quilts I make are what I use for my trunk shows when I'm out traveling, so I have some pretty quilts to show. Okay, there's those 3, and they can go right on to this other unit I just did. Right? Yes. Okay. I'm going to move this camera back just a bit. Get just a little wider view that way. I'm going to look at that. Okay, there we go. Okay. Woohoo. Yes, I have some of my old yoga sewing pants on today. They're super stretchy and comfy. And if y'all ever do come out and see me at a live event while I'm out traveling, I wear my yoga pants at my shows also. Getting ready to make me another pair. I found my tote where I'd put all my knit fabrics at. And I got a wonderful chunk of 4-way stretch knit in leopard print. And yes, I am. That is going to be my next pair of yoga sewing pants that I make, is out of my leopard print fabrics. Well, I got enough for one pair. I said like I had more than enough for one, but I don't. And I found through trial and error for my yoga pants that I use for my sewing pants, you really need 4-way stretch fabric, because I've tried more than once to make it out of this type of cotton quilting fabric, and my pattern, it just doesn't hang right. I'd have to make something more like a Thai fisherman's pants if I'm going to use a cotton fabric. That's what I've discovered. Because what I do when I'm developing like any type of pattern, I do mock-ups in very inexpensive fabric. I'm not going to call it junk fabric, but I sometimes run across stuff for 60 cents a yard, and I will buy bolts of it to use for pattern fabric, to make my mock-ups in. Not only for garments, but for quilt patterns as well. Never start with fabric you love. You always make something that's really looking nice. Okay, another round. Okay. Then this one, go there right like that. Okay. Okay. And get these 3 blocks sewn together. Mess those seams up. Okay. And now, so these three onto the other 3 rows I've already got sewn together. Woohoo, we're moving right along. Yeehaw. It's a good thing. It really is. Now, all of this huge quilt I'm making, you could actually make 4 throw quilts. There's enough fabric to make 4 throw quilts as opposed to one super large king size quilt. It's a good thing. But yeah. But it goes really fast. I mean, these blocks are almost 14 inches square. And on this one, I'm probably going to do an overall meander, a stipple, simply because it's so big. And the fabric, quite honestly, it is so busy that you would never see, if I put quilted feathers in it, you'd never see them. It would just get lost in the fabric. And that's okay. But the other one I'm going to make out of the charm squares, that quilting will show up better. And I'm going to do feathers in that one, which is what you will see me quilting on Sunday. I'm really digging that knee lift on this machine. Okay, so there are 12 blocks sewn together. And now, let me think here for just a second. Do I want to go ahead and sew them onto that? That would leave 2 rows, 7 blocks, I think, each. So 14 blocks, is that right? 16 and 12 is 28. Right? 38. Oh, there's something off there somewhere. Let me put this up next to the other ones and we'll have a look at these here. Okay. I had to do some math. Let's see here. Yes, right here. I am going to probably go ahead and seam these 2 together though. Let's go right there. Okay. Now that is the entire width of the quilt. That is 7 blocks wide. Okay. Now I have to think for a minute. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I have 3 rows of 7. That'd be 21. That would equal 49. That is correct. Okay. So yes, that is exactly what I'm going to do then. I'm going to sew these 2 big pieces together. Oh, wait a minute. Yes. You get me think here again. I could leave that center seam for my last seam. And then just work on those pieces down there. That's what I'm going to do. So, let's So I have that laid out, so I can take this, lay this off to the side. I'm going to take my other big piece and lay it off to the side and lay out the rest of my blocks here. Okay. Okay. Now then. Okay. So. Well, I'll make sure I do this right. That has to be right. It is. So. It's going to be my bottom 3 rows. Okay. Right? Right. Okay. That is correct. Now then, I need these. Okay. Go there. That one would go right down there. Yes. Then I need pandas. Pandas are next. That one would go there. That one would go there. Okay. Just a minute. I'm having to think again. It's a dangerous thing. No, it's not. That's correct. Okay. I need another skunky to go right here. Right? Right? Oops. Turn you right there. Okay. Then, what did I have here? Oh, 1, 2, and 1. So for the 2s, I was using this, I think. Nope. 1. There's 2 of those. A couple of those. 1 of those, so I know where that goes then. I think. Hope. Let's see here. Let's see here. I'll hold this up there so I can get a look at it again. Right? One. Yeah, that is correct. Okay. What did I use in that top corner, though? See, as big as my design wall is, it's not big enough for this. There we go. That is correct. Okay. Now I get it. Alrighty. Then I would put my 2 zebras over there, I think. Yes, yes. These 2. There's just one of those. The lemurs, maybe. Where did my lemurs go? Do. Okay. Where are you at, lemur? Something's not right. What's not right? There's something out of sequence here. Did I sew those together already? Oh, I see. I see. This is the bottom, not the top. That's why. Okay. Now that makes better sense. Okay. Whew. Yes. Okay, now I get it. Look at this one more time here. 1, 2, 3 lemurs there, 3 down there. Correct. Okay. Whew, I'm glad that is solved. So, 1, 2. Is it solved? Oh, this is messing with my head big time. I'm pretty sure these are going to go here. Right? And then you have one down here, single. That was the skunky. So that would be this one. No. Be this one. I think. Right there. And let me have another look. Seven, 6, 5. Yes, there'd be one. That would go down there, correct. Okay. Okay. Yes, because I do have one skunk and it'll go there. Right? Boo, 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 boo. Yes, it would. Yes. Okay. Got it. I think. Okay, so I'm going to go take a quick restroom break and I will be right back. Okay. I'll lay my microphone here on my sewing machine. That way you'll know. When I turn it back on. take as long as I wanted to because I want to get this quilt top done. Woohoo! Okay, so I'm going to start clipping everything together. Yeah, let's move that camera back. There we go. You know, you could also do this on a serger. You could completely piece this quilt top on a serger, because even on a serger you can get a perfect 1/4 inch seam. I have a lot of videos out there on that. And you might be wondering, well, why would I want to piece one on a serger? Well, there's a couple of reasons why. One is the feed dogs on a serger are much larger than on any sewing machine. So you're going to get better fabric feeding under a serger than you will a sewing machine. It's just a simple truth. Also, a cone of serger thread is about 3,000 yards. That's how big your bobbin is. To piece an entire quilt top, you'll never have to wind a single bobbin. And that's pretty cool. Really and truly, it is. Okay. Now we're going to clip that. Okay. Then, there we go there. And this one would go here. Let's see here. Okay. Now we're going to do these two. And all I'm doing, I'm pulling them down off of the wall. And just doing my 1/4 inch seam and setting my blocks together. And then we're going to do 2 more. Okay. Get these laid out where they belong. Right there. Let's see what I'm doing back here. As I'm sewing the two blocks together, I'm just making sure they get oriented properly so that when I go to set these strips of two blocks each together, it will go together in the right order. So I'm going to do these two bottom ones here first. There, like that. And we'll sew those together. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're getting there. Okay, there's those two. And then I'm going to grab that other one off the wall and lay it out onto this to be attached. I'll go right there like so. I don't know if any of you saw me yesterday on the Sewing Machines Plus Countdown to Christmas episodes. However, you know, they made a really good point. Everybody needs a straight stitch only machine. You truly do, because, and here's the reason why, I'm going to tell you why. Because let's say you have a nice combo embroidery and sewing machine, right? Well, if you're sewing on it, you can't be using the embroidery feature of it. And if you're embroidering, you can't use the sewing feature. Well, this solves that issue big time. Sometimes it's nice just to have a straight stitch machine to work with, regardless of whether you do quilting or garments or home decor. This particular machine, this Accomplish, it is a workhorse. It truly is. It is one of my favorite machines. I love this machine. It is really a pleasure to sew on. It is so accurate and fast, which makes it super nice. Excuse me. Okay. Let's see what I just did there. There we go. So there's that unit. Now I have one just like it to set together on this side. And then we'll put those two together and sew it onto the previous unit, and that will be 4 blocks by 7 blocks completely done. Well over the halfway mark of having this quilt top complete. Okay. Sure that is correct. Yes. Yes. Okay. And we'll swap back over here. Puppy, what you doing, Bobby? Huh? The little dog's down here looking at me saying, don't you want to come and play, Dad? We'll have time for that when this is over. Yes, the first thing when he gets up in the morning, he knows it is his time to have breakfast, his morning food. And boy howdy, if you're a minute late, he will let you know it. There is no sleeping in. If you don't hit his programmed meal time that's in his head, he has it down to a science. Okay. And that one be done. Okay. I'm going to add one more row to this. There we go. I forgot I had that pin. No, I didn't. Okay. That will go right there. So from starting this little video series, I have already learned a couple of things I have to work on. And that is, as far as the technical end of it goes, a wider camera angle view. So you can really see what I'm doing back there on that design wall. I'll have that solved come Sunday. It'll all be good. And I've learned so much in the last year and a half of doing all this virtual stuff and filming and lives and all of that stuff. But there's always something more you really learn. You never stop learning something. Is what I have found out. It's an ongoing educational process, that's for sure. It's one thing you can count on. Okay. Now, there's that one. I have 2 of these to sew together. And they're going to go on this side right here. You see here? Yep. It's going to go right over here like this. So we'll just fold that over. Sew those 2 together. What, puppy? What you doing, Bobos? We all hear you barking. Yes, you're a good dog. Who's a good dog? Puffin's a good dog. Yes, you are. He's my little doorbell and protector. When I'm in here by myself, here in the shop, he watches out for me. And let's see here. Here's some more seams to line up. Woohoo! I see progress being made, folks. It's a good thing. It's a very good thing. Alrighty. Now this is the bottom 3 rows going this way. So my other piece I have to sew right up here, along that line up here. So let me grab that one. And that's the top, and this is the bottom right here. These should fit right there like that, and it will. Right, that is perfect. Puffin, is it the UPS truck? What is it? It's usually what gets him going. Be good now. I know you hear a truck. He didn't come here, but he drove one by the street. I know. You're my good boy. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Okay. Now then. And it's just a wonderful process. I love doing this kind of stuff, and I love making quilts. Rarely do I make one for myself, though, simply because usually I just don't have time. But I have decided that I am going to start making stuff for us as well. You know, and if you're going to make something, you know, make it something that you yourself will like. Whenever I'm making a quilt or anything, if I don't like it, I certainly don't think anybody else would. And so when I make stuff or design it, I'm going to make it to what appeals to me, to be perfectly honest. Hopefully it appeals to more people. But it just goes back to, if you're the maker, you have to enjoy what you're making. Otherwise, it's just not using your creativity and your skill set to make something that you don't mind letting people know that you made it. I hope that made sense. Puppy. You're getting prancy. I know, you're wanting to go outside. Okay, I get it. Folks, when I get this scene done, I'm going to have to go take the little guy for a walk outside. So he can go do his business outside. You're my good boy. Sit. Yes, good dog. Good Puffin. Okay. Okay. That's over half of it. That is 4 times 7, it's 28 blocks all done together here. I don't even know where I could spread this out so you can see it all. So I'm just going to put it back up on the design wall for right this second. Am I? No, I'm not, because I have to lay out the rest of my quilt. So that is over half of it. Excuse me. So the next section I have to make is 3 by 4. Okay. So I'm going to swap my camera. And I'm going to put these up here. So I'm going to lay out the blocks for my next section. There we go. So this is going to be 3 by 3 actually, not 3 by 4. Okay, so should have 2 of these. Then I should have one of these right there. Then, woohoo, I should have 2 of these. Those would go there. If everything is proper, and I will double check to make sure. Okay, right there, and right there. And that would leave this one for right here. That is all of the blocks. So, I have 9 blocks here. And then I'll have, this is almost done, everybody. Almost done. Now, just to make sure I'm on the right track, this is what it's going to sew to. Let's see here. The top up there. And yes, that is correct. And I have to make sure this would line up correctly and I'll be good to go. Okay. No, like this. Yep. Good. Alrighty. Woohoo. Yeah. Okay. So I have these 9 to set. I'm going to take a break and take Puffin outside so he can go do his business. And I will be back in just a few moments. Puffin thanks you. Oh my goodness, it is so warm outside. It's really kind of freaky. I bet we get storms tonight from this. Because the temperature is supposed to like really drop tonight, like at least 30 degrees. We'll see. Okay. I'll back this camera back up again. There we go. Actually, I'm going to raise it up and lower the head down. Maybe get a better view this way. There we go. Okay. So next I have those 9 blocks. I have these 9 blocks left to sew together into a unit, and then I have 3 big chunks to sew together, and my king size quilt top will be complete. And we're going to get started. Okay. Okay, shoe, you have to get away from my foot pedal. Or I'll never get nothing done. There we go. There's that one. Then let me see here. This one goes on next. Right over here. Yes. Yeah, I know I could have filmed this whole video series and not done it live. However, I thought for this one, it'd just be nice to see the process in real time. Because maybe you're watching and you've never really made a quilt before, and you're wondering just what does the process really look like, and that's what this series is all about, to see the entire process. Okay, so there's one row done. Let's put it back over here for temporary, and we'll sew this next layer together, this next little row. And then we'll add another block to this one. Y'all think if I had made a log cabin quilt this size, this king size, I wouldn't even have half of the blocks pieced by now. Way less. I'd be lucky to have 25% of them pieced. And that's one of the great things about doing a layer cake / jelly roll quilt. It's fast and easy. Because most of the cutting has already been done for you. Okay. And we're going to sew those 2 units I just made together. I keep glancing over at the comments section to see if there's any questions or anything. Hopefully some of you are sitting there sewing along with me. Whether it be this quilt or a different project, it's all good. And I am hoping that this fall, so I am planning way in advance now, everybody, I will be able to open my classroom here in the studio. And we'll see how that goes. It just depends on a number of things, especially the current state of our public health and everything. You know what I mean by that, without me having to say that dreaded word. Let's see here. Oh, me. Okie dokie, you go right in there. There we go. All lined up now. And those 2 are sewn together. I got one more row. Then attach that row to this. Okay. Put you up on the wall here and let you hang for a moment. Just to have you over here. You can just go down here. Now then. That one. Okay, one more block. One more little block here. this one will get attached to the other 6. Oh, come here, you. There we go. Right here like this. Okay. And I'm going to have to move this camera back now simply because I'm going to start having much larger chunks of fabric to handle to finish this off. Okay. Okay, I gotta check something out here. Something didn't line up. Let me see, what is up? It's lined up good. Seam off. Y'all might have to pin this one. Maybe my eyes are playing tricks on me. That's good. That's not good. That seam there is off. Okay. I'm just going to re-seam this one seam. Oh, I can see why now. Okay. There we go. Now it should be good. I had not maintained my 1/4 inch seam. And I'm just going to pin this one because it's being really persnickety. I see where it's at. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay. On occasion, you do have to pin it to make sure it all lines up like it's supposed to. And that's what that was all about. This fabric plays little tricks on your eyes with all the cool patterns against each other, playing off of each other. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now then, guess what? I have to sew this on to its other unit. I have 3 seams left to go to have this complete. Okay, so lay that out there, because what's going to happen, my other blocks go up this way. So this is my next seam line right here. And, yep, right there. Right there like that. Right there like that. There we go. And we'll get this seam done. And then I'll have 1 more to go. Woohoo! I'm so excited. Just making sure those seams line up, everybody. Here we go. Also making sure the edges of my fabric line up as well. Oh my gosh, I'm so close to having this quilt top done. I'm so excited. I really am. Okay. 1 more seam. This is the bottom 3 rows of the quilt. Okay. And then I need to attach the top 4 rows, which I completed already. And that should go right there like that. Okay. Is that right? Let's see here. Oh no. No. It's a center seam. Right? Right. You're a goober, Richard. There you go. Right there like that. No wonder it wasn't lining up. Woo! Okay. Let me think here. That is the center seam there. It's 3. And this no. this and this should line up. And it does. Okay. So now I have one center seam 7 blocks long to sew together. And this quilt top will be done except for one more thing. Since there's no borders on it, what I do with a quilt top like this, and what I call this is piecing all the way to the edge of a quilt top, I will stay stitch around the entire perimeter so none of my seams come loose during the quilting process. I will do that after I finish this final seam in the quilt. You might not think that is needed, that stay stitching, but trust me, it is needed. Even if you have tacked off the beginning and end of every seam line, if you have piecing all the way to the edge of your quilt, you need to do some stay stitching around that entire perimeter of the quilt. Because even with it being tacked down, tied off, however you want to say it on the seam lines, it can still come apart if it's stretched enough. I will show you what stay stitching is here in just a moment. Okay. To there. Get this all in my lap. Getting the weight off of it because it's wanting to pull to the left. There we go. Okay. And by stay stitching the edges of it, it's not going to, if you hold it up, and you do have to manipulate a quilt top when you're quilting it, it keeps the edges from pulling apart, is what that does, and gives it extra strength for the quilting process. Okay. Alrighty. Almost to the end of this seam, everybody. Woohoo! Next, all I'm going to do, I'm going to stitch around the entire edge of this quilt just with a straight stitch. I'm going to turn it up to 2.5 millimeters. Could actually do 3, but I'm going to do 2.5. And once I get this step done, my quilt top is complete. How about that? Okay, quilt top number 1 is complete anyway. Okay. And you might be wondering, oh my gosh, though, it'll show on your top of your quilt. No, this will be covered up with binding. So you don't have to stay stitching out because it gets covered up with your binding when it's all said and done. But see, by going over all those intersecting seams here, that prevents it from being pulled apart. It actually adds a lot of strength to your quilt top. Yep, well, that quilt just knocked over a camera stand. Oops. So before I go any further, I'm going to go set it back up. I'll be right back. At least it wasn't my expensive camera. We'll do a little test on it when I get it back up here to make sure everything is still running good. Let's see. Oh, it did break it. Broke one of the... No, it just knocked it loose, I think. Let's see here. Just a minute, folks. Did you break? You know, it may have didn't break the camera. It broke part of the tripod, though. Okay. Okay. Let's go over here and check the camera real quick, everyone, to see if it survived the fall. Oh, camera still works. Okay. There we go. Alrighty. Let's go back to this one now. And we're going to go back to our stay stitching. And you know what? I ran out of bobbin. Imagine that. I did that earlier. Ooh, that was way back there too. So I guess I'm going to put another bobbin in. Well, not guess. If I'm going to do any more sewing, I'm going to have to put another bobbin in. Well, that wasn't too bad. Just about 18 inches or so. Okay. So let's put a fresh bobbin in. There. Excuse me. Okay. There we go. Easy peasy. we will get excess thread cut off, and we're ready to finish our stay stitching now. Yes, it is making the stitches. Okay, now we're off to the race again. Yes, it is. Just making sure it was actually that I had it in there correct, because earlier today, at the beginning of today's episode, you actually saw how I was being a goober and couldn't figure out why the machine wasn't stitching. Oh, I didn't have a full bobbin in it, and my bobbin was empty. Imagine that, right? Look how fast you can do this. I mean, you don't have to be precise with that 1/4 inch seam guide up there. I'm going to get a perfect 1/4 inch seam, and I just don't want it to be no more than that, because that's what my binding will actually cover up. Okay. Almost halfway around. Okay. Get the next edge out and lined up. There we go. And that was that camera that just fell back off of the table. So we're going to leave that face cam down for a moment. I guess there's a little bit of vibration going on. Note to self with my new setup in here, can't have cameras setting on the table. But it's all good. All right. Okay. And this should be my last side to stay stitch. And when I finish this, I am going to get a little closer to the computer so I can answer any questions. And then I'm going to start the piecing on my second quilt top from all this fabric. I know I won't get that done today, but I'm going to show you what my idea is, and you'll get kind of the gist of it. I'll get that quilt top started. I tell you, this would have been a good day for me to have a sewing apron on, because I have thread all over me. Thing is, I don't know where my sewing apron is. I had a pretty cool one made with a lot of Western embroidery on it and stuff. But I don't know where it is. I've looked and can't find it. I haven't seen it for a while. Okay. And there it is, completely stay stitched, the entire edge. Now if I pull on it like this, it's not going to come apart like it would have before. Okay. So, let's see here. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to spread this out over my ironing board, and you can get a look at it that way. Hold on. Yeah, the camera damage. Well, it really took a hard hit that time. Oh wow. That could probably be fixed. Maybe not the tripod, but the camera can. Okay. So, what I'm going to do here, iron is hot. It's okay. Just make sure it doesn't touch the iron itself. I get back on the other side. I will move that camera so you can get a better look at it. Okay. You go out. Go. Okay. And right over here is that quilt. Now, Sunday you'll get a much better look at it as far as that goes. But there it is. Okay. And yes, this is the day for technical issues. That camera's not staying in focus. Hold on just a second. I do know how to fix that. Properties, configure video, and turn autofocus off. There we go. That I do know how to do. But there you go. You can get a better look at it that way. Okay. You can see that. That is 49 blocks, 7 wide, 7 long. Should measure approximately 95 by 95. Okay. And let's see here, let me apply. Okay. Now then, I do have a backup face cam, that camera that went off into the floor and busted. But I do have my new camera here. So let me just get that set up real quick, and we'll have a little bit of a chit chat. There we go. Okay. Hoo-hoo. Get that a little bit closer. Okay. And the light, yeah, the lights are messed up because of that little snafu. Oh well, stuff happens, right? So, awesome, Marcia, you're sewing along with me. Wonderful, wonderful. And so as you can see over there, let me pan this over and you get a different perspective and look at it. But there is the quilt top that I have been working on right there. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to be working on, and this episode is almost over, but I'm going to show you what I've got cut here and explain what I'm going to do. And then you'll get to see all of this on Sunday. Oops. There we go. That one. Yes. So what I did, I had a bunch of this fabric in 10 by 10 inch squares and of the polka dots, reverse polka dots. This is a kind of like a solid black, but it has these beautiful gray swallows in it. Let's see if I can get that to show up on here. You can kind of see that right there. We go. You can kind of see the swallows in it. And here's the same thing in a white, but it has the off-white swallows in it. So these fabrics here are going to go into one quilt top. These are 5 inches square. And right now I'm leaning towards making various 9 patches to sew together. And what a 9 patch is just 9 squares. For instance, if I did this, you would have 5 of one square. And I don't know that I'm going to do it like this yet. I have to actually graph it out on paper before I commit to sewing. And then you would have a contrasting fabric to fill it in. Say if I use these here for instance. And these are part of the Lineworks fabric collection by Tula Pink. So there would be one 9 patch right there. See that? That's one thing I'm thinking of for doing this, or I might end up just putting them in horizontal rows. I haven't decided yet. I have to do pencil and paper and do some math to figure this one out. But I did do a quilt, and I out of charm squares of Kaif before. And I'll have to show you that quilt. I'll do that on Sunday, where I just randomly placed all the squares, but that was an entire it was the entire charm pack. So this is not an entire charm pack. In a regular charm pack, there'd be like maybe 12 or 13 different fabrics. I only have 5 fabrics here, so I don't think that would really look quite right. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, how I set that out. That'll be my Sunday surprise for everybody. Are there any questions? Well, everybody, I want to thank you very much for tuning in. Let me move this camera over here. Swap out that camera. Ooh, wrong one. Nope, that's the right one. You just turn it around. There, you got to see my mess. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been fun, and I'm going to go assess the damage to my camera and tripod and see if I can super glue it back together. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. Thank you, everyone. I will see. Hey, tune in this Friday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, in my Facebook group, Baby Lock Angels, and we're going to be doing my December block of the month on Friday night of this week. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Have a glorious week, the rest of your week, and I'll see y'all real soon.